Welcome to Archiversity online classes. In this lecture, I am going to show you how to calculate, analyze and interpret debt equity ratio with balance sheets of two real companies. One is a CEAT India Limited and the second one is a Blue Star Limited. Debt equity ratio, also called as a debt ratio, measures the weightage of debt and equity in a capital structure. As you know, the assets of a company or the economic resources of a company can be financed through two sources. One is liabilities and the other source is equity. So here liabilities are borrowed funds and equity is owner's funds. So these assets, that is economic resources, are financed either through liabilities or equity or in combination of both liabilities and equity. So borrowed funds are outsiders funds and owner funds are called as insider funds. So the difference is that in case of a borrowed funds, there is a fixed obligation. There is a fixed obligation from the company, that is it has to pay interest on the borrowed funds. Whereas in the case of a owner's equity, all the profits, that is a retained earnings or a profits, you can say that all the profits which the company earns belongs to owner's equity. In practice, the liabilities or the borrowed funds will have less cost, that is the cost of debt of borrowed funds will be less than cost of equity. Then only the companies will borrow funds at a lower rate of interest and higher rate of return. Now how is it we are going to calculate the debt equity ratio is debt to equity ratio. So here we consider debt of two types. One is a borrowed debt, that is on which you pay an interest amount. So all interest bearing debt is covered here. In addition to that, financial liabilities, that is other financial liabilities, are also considered. Whereas in case of equity, we consider paid up capital. In addition to this, have reserves, surpluses if any, then plus premium on shares issues, plus retained earnings. So all the funds or all the equity belongs to the owners are considered under the head of equity. In case of a debt, we also consider both, that is non-current debt plus current debt. What is excluded from the debt is a provision, if there are any provisions, deferment of taxes and all, those are excluded, except that all amount are considered. So I'll explain this with two examples. First we look at the annual report of a CEAT company. So first we look at a balance sheet of a CEAT company. So here you have assets. So these are the economic resources that the company owns, and these assets are mobilized by, one is the equity and second one is the liabilities. In a debt equity ratio, we measure the relationship between the total debt, that is current and non-current, to equity. So equity includes both equity of a share capital and other equity. So here from a non-current liabilities and a current liabilities, we are going to consider the interest bearing borrowings, that is borrowings are here, the financial liabilities, interest bearing borrowings, lease liabilities and other liabilities. So we exclude the provisions which has been made and a deferred tax liability. These two are excluded. Similarly, when it comes to the current liabilities, we consider the current borrowings, lease liabilities, and we exclude trade payables, we exclude provisions, current tax liabilities and other liabilities are excluded. In equity, we consider both the equity share capital and other equity. So what is excluded here is the provisions, deferred tax liability, then trade payables are excluded, provisions are excluded, current tax liabilities are excluded and other liabilities are excluded. So the ratio measures debt to equity. So here we calculate the total debt for both the financial years. So these are the data for financial years March 31st 2019 and March 30 2020. So we'll take a calculator. First we calculate the debt portion. So here financial liabilities, one is you have a borrowings here, and then other financial liabilities, lease liabilities are not there, other financial liabilities, we consider these three here, these three. In addition to that, you have a borrowings and lease liabilities. So first we calculate for 2019 This is 100,000, 272 plus 461 plus 3683 plus 21,431. So this equals to 125,847. So we'll make a note here. 2019 and 2020 debt 125,847. So 125,847. Then similarly we calculate for 2020. There is a 140,199 plus 6,375 plus 10,072 plus 16,559 plus 4,226. So this is 177,431. 177,431. Then your equity. So we have equity values directly calculated here. 275,104, 292,740. So we'll take the values directly. So 275,104 and 292,740. 292,740. And all these amounts are in rupees lakhs. That is, we can say that 1,25,847 lakhs here, 1,77,431 lakhs here. So our debt equity ratio is debt upon equity. So we calculate this for first year, that is 2019. In case of 2019, 125,847 upon 275,104. So this is 0.46. Let us say 0.46 in 2019 and 177,431 upon 292,740. So this we can say that 60.606 or 61. There is 0.61. So this is a 0.46 or 46%, and this is 0.61 or 61%. In the sense, the debt equity ratio for the financial year 2019 was 0.46, and in 2020 the debt equity ratio was 0.61. So there is an increase in a debt equity ratio. That means during the financial year 2019 and 2020 financial year, the company borrowed additional debt. So that is the reason why you have a increased the debt equity ratio. In the sense, the debt portion is higher than the equity portion in the financial year 2020. In this year, the debt portion was less than equity, whereas this is here it is a more than equity. Now, why is that the company borrowed these additional funds? You need to understand. One is that if a company borrowed additional funds to purchase, acquire assets or buy a new assets, and if that leads to the generation of a revenue and increase in the profits, then that is a very good option. Otherwise, if the company borrows the debt and uses it for repayment of other loans or payment of expenses and incurring of more expenses, in that case the debt equity ratio, high debt, will be leads to problems. So we'll see that where is that the company utilized this debt. Now if you look at, to know that, as we said in the beginning, it is the, when you look at the debt equity ratio, or that is the financing of a debt and equity. So here if you look at liabilities and equity, these two are used to procure or mobilize the assets or to buy assets, that is investing. Now we see that whether there is an increase in investments in this company or not. So the property, plant and equipment, yes, there is an increase in property, plant and equipment. So here earlier it is 278,574, whereas now this is 363,503. This one is the net amount. In the sense, when you say that net amount, that means after making an adjustment, of a depreciation also, there is an increase in property, plant and equipment of the company, which means the company, whatever the debt the company mobilized, is used to purchase or procure property, plant and equipment. And also if you observe here, in case of a capital work in progress, there is increase. So here it is a 71,889. Now this is a 91,000. And also there is an increase in right to use of assets. So 10,185 is the right to use of assets. And there is also an increase in intangible assets. So these all increases, that is increase in property, plant and equipment, capital work in progress, right of use of assets, intangible assets, indicate that the company utilizes its borrowed funds to procure assets, and these assets may be utilized for generating the revenue. Now, if you to know more details on how actually what are the different sources with which the company borrowed the funds, we can look at its notes, related notes. Here, if you see the company, when it comes to the commercial papers, there is a decrease, in the sense the company repaid its commercial papers, but export packing credit, earlier it was nil, and here there is a amount, so there is an increase. So one source of financing is a debt in the form of a debt is export packing credit from a banks. Here you can see the rate of interest at which it borrowed, 7.75% to 10.9% was the average. In other case, leases, there is a building lease for 2020. Then lease liabilities, there is also increase in the lease liabilities. Then when it comes to the borrowings, if you look at the borrowings here, almost a lot of the same. One additional borrowing is from the HDFC Bank. You can see here there is an increase in the borrowings here. There is a slight increase in other financial liabilities here. Also deposit from the dealers, there is a small increase. Now coming to the equity share capital, if you see that equity share capital, there is an increase in equity share capital, and this increase is due to increase in your retained earnings. Earlier retained earnings was 1,89,604 crores, but lakhs, now this is 2,04,733. So there is an increase in a retained earnings, because of which your total equity increases it. So this is how you need to say, once a company mobilizes the debt, you have to look at it from the perspective whether the purpose for which the debt is mobilized. Now, as the debt is mobilized for purchasing and using of plant, property and equipment, or procuring assets, so an increasing debt is not bad as long as the company generates sufficient revenues from the debt. So in this case, we can say that the company is trying to leverage on the debt. So if you look at the rate at which it borrowed, it is a 7.7% to 10%. Now this we need to compare with the return on investment of this company or a net profit ratio. Obviously, if the net profit ratio will be much higher than this, that is the reason why we say that when cost of a debt is cheaper, the company can procure funds in the form of a debt instead of going for a equity. And we look at the second example. This is an interesting example, because this company has mobilized high debt and used it for a different purpose. So here again the same, your equity and borrowings, financial liabilities. You can say that here you have a liabilities, or borrowings are here, and so we consider only the borrowings. There are no borrowings here. Then lease liabilities, the other financial liabilities we'll consider. Then provisions we will not consider in a debt equity ratio. Similarly, here in a financial borrowings, we will not consider the trade payables, because trade payables are not interest bearing liabilities, and we consider the lease liabilities and other financial liabilities, and we exclude provisions, government grants and current liabilities. Now using this, we'll calculate the debt equity ratio, and in case of a Blue Star Limited, this is the balance sheet of a Blue Star Limited for the financial year 2019 and 2020, and here the amounts are in rupees. Earlier in case of a CET, the amount is in rupees of a lakhs, whereas in case of a Blue Star, it is a amount in crores. So first we calculate the component of a debt. So this is for a financial year 2019 and 2020. Now first we calculate the debt, then equity, then we calculate the debt equity ratio. So for the financial year 2019, the debt is 0.05 crore plus 16.72. So this is 16.77 crore, 16.77 crore in 2019, whereas in case of 2020, it is 41.88 plus 37.72, then 449.04 plus 21.42 plus 30.18. So your debt is 580.24. There is a huge increase in debt. So 580.24, and we'll take the equity. Equity in 2019 is 961 crore, and there is a decrease in equity here, 849.69. So you can see that there is a decrease in equity and increase in debt. Obviously your debt equity ratio will be high. So we'll say this is 16.77 this upon 961, so 0.017. So this is 0.017, and for 2020 this is 580.24 upon 849.69, so 0.68, 0.68. So this is a phenomenal jump in debt equity ratio. Here hardly this is we can say that a 2%. Now it is a 68%. The company has increased its debt to 68% suddenly in 2020. So we need to look at why is this sudden jump in debt in case of a Blue Star, and where actually they invested this money. If you look at the balance sheet of this company, then you will see that property, plant and equipment, there is a no increase. So that indicates that the company has not invested any amount in property, plant, equipment, but there is a rights use of assets. There is a slight increase, 54 crore here, and capital work in progress, there is a slight increase here. Investment in property decreased, whereas other financial assets. So look at the current assets, and inventories are the same. Now trade receivables are same. Now cash and cash equivalents, there is an increase in cash and cash equivalents, nearly 200 crore increase in cash and cash equivalents. Then this is a major one, other financial assets, in the sense the company mobilized the funds and retained it in the form of a cash. Now why is that they need a cash? That is one aspect that you need to look at. And the second one is there is a decrease in the other equity also. You should have to know why that decrease in other equity. And the borrowings, where from the company borrowings, and what is the rate of interest that the company is going to pay. So for that you need to look at the notes 19, 21, and here again notes 19, then lease liabilities notes 21. So we look at the notes here. Term loan, during the financial year the company borrowed a term loan of a 41 crore term loan is borrowed, and there is a working capital demand loan because maybe because of a financial slowdown or because of a low cash flows in the company. The company has borrowed near about 279 crore, or we can say 280 crore in the form of a working capital loan. So the company is in requirement of working capital. And here term loan also, there is a 41 crore increase in term loan, and intercorporate deposit, there is an increase. So majorly we can say that the company borrowed loans. One is for the working capital, second is for a packing credit loan, and third one is a cash credit. All these indicates that the company is in need of a working capital requirement. So the assets financed or the debt mobilized is for meeting working capital requirement. In case of a C8, we saw that the debt is mobilized for procuring property, plant and equipment, whereas in case of a Blue Star, it is for a working capital requirements. So these are the lease liabilities. There is an increase in the lease liabilities. Then other financial liabilities also, there is a slight increase. Now statement of a changes in equity. So here equity, when we look at from a previous year to current year, there is a decrease in equity value. So here it is 941 crore, but now this is 830 crore. Normally the equity should increase, other equity should increase every year. Why there is a decrease is, here during the period 2020, that is a financial year, the company earned a profit of 120.87 crore, whereas the company paid a dividend of 226.17 crore. So there is a more cash outflow than the profits that the company earned during the financial year. That means because of paying dividends, there is a decrease in a retained earnings, which impacted the company's other equity. So in the previous year, if you look at for the financial year 2019, the profit earned during the year is 121.79 crore, whereas the dividend paid is less than the net profit of the company. But in this year, that is a financial year 2020, the company paid high dividend. So to understand this, why is that the company paid higher dividend than the profit that it earned, you need to look at the advantages that the company is going to get from dividend payment. That is the one. Second is that why is that the company paid higher dividend even when it borrowed funds for the requirement of a working capital. So this working capital requirement is you have to make an understanding, or you have to study further to know that why is that the working capital requirement is high, because there is a pile up of a stock. Or if you look at the inventories, so there is no piling up of inventories here. Only thing is that the company, whatever the amount it borrowed, it kept in a cash for the time being. In the sense, it is in a cash or a cash account or a current account and overdrafts. So maybe the company is expecting to, expecting to produce more and keep it in stock for forthcoming season or something else. So you have to do an in-depth analysis to know why is that the working capital requirement, and this working capital requirement is for the good for a company or not. So then only you will be able to rightly interpret the debt equity ratio. So sudden jump in a debt equity ratio here. So in case of a CEAT, the debt is borrowed to procure assets, whereas in case of Blue Star, the company borrowed debt for the purpose of working capital. So in both the cases, the requirements are different. One is to procure assets, and in another case it is a working capital. So how is this going to influence the company financials and all? You will be knowing into the if you read annual reports of a next financial year. This is how you need to calculate the debt equity ratio. Calculating of a debt equity ratio is a very simple one. Simply it is your debt upon equity. But to understand the story behind this, you have to look at the balance sheet of the company and then the notes related to it, and try to analyze and interpret. Thank you very much for listening to the lecture.